Hi there, welcome to our video series about web services. In this video, pag-usapan natin kung paano mag-set up ng web service setup. No? So, before we proceed, pag-usapan natin ang mga options. So, with web services, maraming options na pwedeng mapagpilian. Like for example, pwede ka pumili sa .NET or like for example with C Sharp, no? Programming language, pwede rin sa Java, pwede rin sa Python, pwede rin sa Node.js. Sa Node.js alone, maraming options na pwede tahakin o piliin sa pag-implement ng isang web services. So, pwede tayong mag-native na Node.js, pwede rin tayo gumamit ng library such as yung madalas ginagamit sa web service. Sa Node.js is ang Express. Pero sa Express is one of the things na mabibigay ni Express is flexibility. No? So marami kang pwede gawin. You can control all yung mga patterns na ginagamit mo. You can implement your own structure and so on. No? But for this demonstration, we'll be using a specific library. It's called Nest.js. Nest.js is a library na ginawa on top of Express. One of the things na nabibigay ni Nest.js is nagbibigay siya ng well-documented na guidelines how to implement web service. Another thing na nabibigay ni Nest.js is well-structured yung pag-implement mo sa web service. And with that case is magiging maintainable yung application mo in the long run. With Express kasi, masyado siyang flexible. So, kapag lumalaki yung application mo, medyo nag-lead siya to a spaghetti code that is somehow difficult to but with Nest.js, well-guided, well-structured yung components mo, well-structured kung paano sila mag-integrate to each other. Meron ng mga existing na mga guidelines how to implement mga technologies such as authentication, microservices, mga design patterns na existing na ginagamit usually sa web service such as yung mga design pattern like solid principles naka-built-in na sa paggawa sa kanya. One of the things na gusto ko rin about Nest.js is it's created using TypeScript. So, strongly typed siya, which makes it very much maintainable pag create ka ng isang web service. Okay, to start with Nest.js, so visit mo lang si nestjs.com. So, from here, makita mo yung documentation nila. So, if you go sa documentation, from here, so, mabibigyan ka ng somehow guideline how to start. So, the first thing that you wanna do is mag-install ka ng CLI. So, copy mo lang ito. Copy mo lang yung command line. And then, punta ka sa command line mo like cmd and execute mo yung command. So, it is using npm, which means kinakailangan maka-install ka ng Node.js before proceeding to this part. So, dapat naka-install ka ng Node.js. I suggest Node.js version 20 or 22 or maybe later. You can use the latest one. Using the Node Package Manager, mag-install tayo. npm means Node Package Manager, I means install. Yung -g means global, mag-install tayo globally, which means install niya sa system mismo, no? So that is why you can execute anywhere in your system. So yung @nest.js /li, yan yung package din na gusto natin install. It's a good practice that every time mag-create ka ng bagong project, you install yung CLI even though you know na naka-install na siya. Which makes you na ma-update ka sa latest na update. No? So, install mo lang. So, once install na yan, pwede ka na mag-proceed with the next step, which is ito siya. So, although this time, I'm skipping the reading of the introduction, but I suggest read, no? Basahin niyo yung yung information here so that you will get informed kung paano ba. So once ma-install na siya, magiging available yung command na nest kung CLI. So you can create a new project from there. No? So another alternative is i-clone mo yung existing nila na project from GitHub. Yan, yung isang alternative. Okay, so while waiting, copy ko na yung command. So ganito lang, nest new, pwede rin memorize mo lang. So, punta ka kung saan mo gusto siya i-create or kung saan mo gusto i-create yung project mo. So, open ako ng bagong command line. So, assuming while waiting na matapos yan dyan. So, side by side lang natin. Okay. So, oops. Like that. So, punta ako sa drive D. I usually put my projects sa drive D. Punta ako sa projects, sa folders, maybe 2026. So, I have several project right here. So, mag-create tayo na dito natin execute yung command. Yung command na yun, ito siya. Nest new. So, assuming tapos na siya, pwede mo na-execute yung nest new. Tapos, ano yung pangalan ng project mo. So, for example, my web service. My web service. Yan, like that. Yan, pag-execute mo yan, mag-scaffold siya ng project. So, yun. So, papipiliin ka niya. So, npm, yarn, or copy npm. Okay, so, yarn, npm is by default naka-install din sa Node.js. But if you have installed yarn, so you can install yarn as well. So, like this, npm dash I, tapos dash G, tapos yarn. Ito lang. So, maganda with yan is somehow maganda yung installation niya kasi meron siyang assurance. For example, mahina yung internet mo, nakaka-help yung yan. And make sure din niya na appropriate yung dependency compatibility. Yan. So, okay. So, use natin yan. Tapos, nag-install na siya. So, while nag-install siya, pwede natin explore yung project. Actually, na-scaffold na niya yung project. No? So, we can open our IDE. Open natin. So, punta natin yung folder. So, nakalagay siya dito. No? So, yan. Yung folder. Yan. So, you can see that the background is installing. So, try natin i-visit na. So, anong mayroon sa project? So, pretty much simple lang. So, normally, sa isang Node.js project, meron itong package.json. Pasok lang natin. Okay? So, package.json. So, from here, makita natin yung project. Yung pinangalan natin sa project natin. May web service. Tapos, ito yung mga commands na you can execute during the development. Yung production dependencies niya, as you may see, is very minimal. So, meron si core, Nest.js core, si common, si platform for Express. As I told you, si Nest.js is built on top of Express. So, yan. So, lahat ng functionality meron sa Express is you can still use while making use of the features na binibigay ni Nest.js. Yan. So, ito yung mga ginagamit na dev dependencies which helps you to develop na more easier. Okay. Sa source naman, if you go sa source, very simple lang. The entry point is in main.ts. So, nandito yung entry point natin. So, dito magpag-start ng program mo, ito yung pinaka-first niya na ipaparan. As you may see, makikita mo dyan, nag-create siya ng application tapos nag-listen siya sa port 3000. So, pag natapos na installation at the background, which we're looking at here, kapag natapos na yan, we can execute the command. dito sa package.json, as you may see, ang command na ginagamit to run is start. So, if you execute sa terminal, open natin yung terminal or shortcut na terminal is ito siya, no? Yung terminal. So, pag open mo niyan, you can execute si npm run start. Okay? With sa mga baguhan sa Node.js, you can always execute yung mga commands dito sa nakalagay sa script via npm. Wait lang natin, lumalabas yung bash, no? So, gawa ko ng bago, pero sa command prompt. Yan. So, you can execute si npm like that, tapos run. npm run, tapos pili ka lang dito if you want to execute build, format, start, and so on. Yan. So, let's say for example, execute mo si npm run start. Yan. So, as of na siguro hindi pa siya magra-run because hindi pa tapos yung installation niya. Yan. Okay, so patapusin muna natin yan siya. Okay, so while waiting, para mamaya patakbo natin yan, explore natin iba. So here, ito nga yung pinaka-entry point, tapos mag-create siya ng module. So, si Nest.js is pina-follow niya yung architecture na pina-follow na AngularJS. So, that makes it very much friendly. No? So, modular siya, which means meron siyang mga set of modules. So, pwede ka mag-create ng set of modules na pwede independent, less dependency with other modules. Yan. So, by default, you have a single module, which is we call app module. So, ito yung source code niya. If we open si app module, as you may see, very simple lang, wala siyang kalaman-laman. So, which means yung application natin is composed of a single module. We call it app module. Tapos, pwede siya magkaroon ng mga subcomponents. One type of component that it can have is itong tinatawag na controller. Yung controller sa isang web service is nagsisilbing siya yung access point or endpoint na tinatawag. Endpoint na pwedeng matawag ng external users. So, dyan ka nag-expose ng mga API mo, no? Dyan, parang yan yung giving endpoint na na-access ng mga clients. Makita natin yan if we go inside dun sa controller, pasokin natin yung controller, yan, nakalagay dyan, dito siya nag-expose ng hello. Yan, kapag, so, with the basic sa HTTP, so there are HTTP methods, no? So, pinaka-basic is get. So, ito, itong function na to is nagre-return lang siya whatever is the return of the app service na get hello. So, ano man itong si app service, if we go back dun sa module, zoom ko lang. Yan. If we go back dito sa module, si app service is also part sa app module. So, nangyari, si app controller, ginagamit niya ito si app service. That's why sinasabi dito provides. Nagpo-provide sa providers, nagpo-provide si app service papunta dun sa controller. Pag nilagay mo dito siya sa providers, pagpasok mo dun sa controller, it allows you to inject. So, meron tayong tinatawag na dependency injection. This design pattern usually nag-start sa Java, which is ginagamit din dito. So, if we learn na dependency injection is ginagamit din sa different platforms, even sa .NET, sa other platforms as well. So, very similar yung approach nila. Okay, so since meron ng so si app service is naka-specify siya dito, no? Naka-provide siya, so pwede mo siya ma-inject dito sa app service. Since naka-inject siya dyan, pwede mo natawagin yung class o yung instance ng class. Tapos with its method. For newbie sa TypeScript, makikita natin yung constructor natin. Wala siyang laman, no? Wala siyang laman. Empty constructor siya. But pinaka-important dito is itong si private. If you mark it as private kasi automatic nagiging member siya. Si TypeScript is medyo pareho din kay Python. Medyo mahilig din sila sa shorthand. Yan. Shorthand na mga approaches to implementing the programming language. Yan. So, maybe I need to restart. Parang tapos na kasi installation. So, we can execute si npm run start like that. Meron siya. So, with Nest.js, meron siyang custom logger. Meron siyang logger na ginagamit, which is, pwede mo siya ma-redirect sa specific log server. So, for auditing, no? So, for security purposes, if it is advisable na kapag nag-develop ka ng isang web service or maybe get an application, kung meron siyang log service or way of logging things just like this one, mas mainam na ginagamit mo siya for in the future is pwede maka-help sa'yo for security like tracing or auditing. Maka-help sa'yo yan. Since ito, tumatakbo na siya, pwede natin siya i-test. So we can open our browser, tapos access mo lang, localhost, tapos ilagay mo yung port. So, in this case, ang port na ginamit natin is 3000. So, ganun. As you may see, so if we go inside dito, ang rinirito niya is hello world. That is why ito yung nakuha natin. Yan. Okay? So, yan. So, yung pag-set up. No? So, at least naka-set up tayo. So, i-continue natin sa next video yung other part na kailangan natin i-set up sa web service natin. So, step by step lang. If you have questions, just let me know.